Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to have my first live meet and greet of 2024 with Ruby. She is the CEO and head of creation, and we're going to learn more about her and her business and how she got started. So let's dive in, and I'm going to send her an invite. And feel free to ask any questions during the live meet and greet. You can also fill out our offer. So I sent her an invite. So let's get her in with us. I have my questions here. I am ready. Hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So excited. Sent an invite. There you are. Hi, good
Now I'm here.
morning.
Hi.
Good late morning, right?
Yes.
Trying to position the camera where
You can
So
see.
welcome, welcome. I see that you have some of your pieces in the back. Hi, everyone. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us. So I am so excited, Ruby, that you are starting us off right this year with your personalized Stanleys. I mean, those are
Yes.
gorgeous. I've been looking at them. They're just absolutely amazing. So welcome, welcome, everyone. We have some folks saying hi. So let's just jump right in, Ruby. So tell me about your business and who you are.
So I'm Ruby. I'm Ruby Montanez. I'm the owner of Ruby Raes. Ruby Raes is a little play on words for my husband and I. So my husband's name is Ray, and I'm Ruby. So I just changed some of the letters to make it a little more feminine to have a business, since both of us have entrepreneur backgrounds, and I just decided to name it Ruby Raes since we're a team. So he helps me out, and either he helps me out with the kids or he helps me out with some of the I do not, or he helps me out with some of the products that we make. So it's definitely a team
Oh,
effort.
wonderful. And we have someone, Ruby and Ray. It's always good to have that partner. And the fact that the both of you have ours is just
Oh,
amazing.
and then we have 3 kids, and they're all ours too.
Ours. I love it. I love it. We have to definitely get into
Yeah.
that. So you mentioned entrepreneurship, and as you know, I'm an entrepreneur myself. So what inspired you to start your own business?
The freedom. Definitely having the freedom to do whatever you want and whatever you can. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, when you're a business owner, you don't have a lot of time to yourself or a lot of time for anything, but it's more so having the freedom to do it on your own time. Yes, we work a lot of hours, but I do a lot of my work during nap time, or I do a lot of the work once the kids go to sleep, and then I stay up super late into burning the midnight oil, working on orders to have everything done and ready for my clients. So yes, you get to do everything on your own time, but if I were still in corporate, I would only be there 9 to 5, and then I don't get to see my kids because they go to sleep by about 8 o'clock. So if I were still at my 9 to 5, I would be home about 6 o'clock, and then by then it's dinner time and bedtime routine. So having this business definitely gives me the freedom to have the schedule that I want with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Especially, working with parents, I often hear, some of the concerns of going back to work. And so
Yes.
now, with
It's
entrepreneurship
frustrating.
being another option, it's phenomenal. I know for me, when I was in high school and no one really talked about entrepreneurship,
No.
right? It was like you go to college and that's what I did. But I wasn't, to your point, I wasn't fully satisfied. So I definitely resonate with that.
Definitely. In high school, it was always kind of taboo to talk about being a business owner. It was always go to college, get your degree, go that path, retire when you're 60, have a 401k, and all that stuff. My educational background has nothing to do with business. I went to CSUN. I went to Cal State Northridge. My background is in deaf studies. I started post-bac in communications, decided to switch over, and I started doing a doctorate in audiology. So completely different. I did 1 year of a doctorate program and decided it wasn't for me. In the end, I started putting things together, and it wasn't really until my husband proposed and we were engaged that I started putting things into perspective. I'm in college doing a doctorate. By the time I'm done, I'm going to owe like $120,000 before interest hits. We want to buy a house. We want to, have our own home. We want to have a family. We want the big wedding. How are we going to do that? It just didn't make sense having that much debt. And both of us came from banking, from finance. So we knew what we had to do to have the lifestyle we wanted. And it eventually took us after I left school, came back, went back into corporate, took us some time to collect the funds to have the wedding that we wanted. And shout out to the Double Knot, because they were actually our wedding coordinators.
Oh, snaps.
For us.
Snaps, Double Knot.
Yes. Yes, so big props to them. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to have the wedding that we wanted. And then after that, it took us about a year and a half or so to save up all our money to purchase our first home. And then after that, it took us another 2-3 years after purchasing our home. I think it was 2 years for us to finally decide to leave corporate to pursue our independent entrepreneur businesses together, so that we could have the lifestyle that we wanted. And I think COVID was like a big push for us and putting everything into perspective. I was working from home. He was still going to the office and everything, but that's kind of what kickstarted my business is COVID. I was at home with my son was about 6 months old at the time, my oldest son, and you're stuck at home. What are you going to do? I needed something to get my creative juices going, and so I started doing vinyl cups, and that kind of switched over from doing vinyl cups to doing other things. I ended up getting a Glowforge laser, and I started doing personalized ornaments, doing personalized cutting boards, this and that, and I just felt like something was still missing, and I went back to vinyl cups, not necessarily to vinyl cups in general, but just the thought of the joy that brought me, and what can I do with a laser, and what came out of it was Stanley cups and Yetis.
Yes, I love them. They're gorgeous. And I really love your story too, Ruby, and folks who are live with us or just replaying it. Sometimes we might feel stuck, but really being curious about how we can, meet our financial needs, our family needs. And so I'm glad that, you're kind of, I hope you're inspiring others out there to start it. Because I think there's a lot of fear, starting your business, because you're like, well, I'll start it, but will it be successful? So there's a lot of fear. So it takes a lot of, a lot of courage to start your business, especially during COVID, right? We didn't even know what was going to even happen.
Yeah, with everything being so up in the air and not knowing anything, it was definitely a push to kind of invest in yourself and kind of see where things go. I was still working a 9-to-5 at the time, and I was just thinking, well, what can I do in the meantime? So when I would take my breaks, that's what I would do. And my lunch, I would eat and see my son and hang out with him. But I would also go back to what can I do? And I was just working on the business and everything. And there is definitely a fear of failure, imposter syndrome as well. But it's just pushing forward and having the support and just hearing the stories of my clients giving the gifts was really a push for me. Just hearing, oh my God, I gave my gift, the gift that you made me, to so-and-so, and they just loved it. So this past Christmas, I did a lot of Stanley cups, and one client stood out to me. It was, I think, like 2 weeks before Christmas. She reached out and she asked me, hey, can you do a Taylor Swift design on a Stanley cup? And I said, yeah, I can make it. And she asked, do you have the specific cup? It was the Flamingo Target limited edition. So the cup itself, this part was the traditional pink, and the handle was a hot pink. And that was the Flamingo limited edition cup that Target had at the time. Sold out everywhere. She said she was scammed on Etsy. And that was the only thing her daughter wanted. Her daughter was like 8 or 10, and that was the one thing she wanted for Christmas. So she was kind of at her wit's end. And can you do it? And I said, yes, I have that cup. I can definitely do it. So we went ahead and did it, and it was either Christmas Day or the day after. She sends me the video of her daughter opening the gift
Oh,
and said,
I
"Thank
love
you
that.
so much. You made her Christmas. It was definitely the gift that she wanted." And just watching the reaction of this little girl
Mhm.
opening up her Christmas gift with the Taylor Swift design on the cup that she wanted, just really made my day for me being a business owner, because there's a lot of things that you don't see. You know, the late nights, the tears, the sweat, the
Yeah.
blood, all of that. You making this? I have a laser. It's just me, and my husband helps me out as much as he can. But there's just a lot of stuff that you have to take care of with these lasers. If not, they're not going to work properly.
Mhm.
And there was like about 2 week span that I just could not get my tumblers to work
Mhm.
right. The laser wasn't engraving correctly. And these are the things that a lot of business owners don't talk about, or you just don't hear
Right.
of the difficulties that you have. And that was my difficulty, that I could not get it to work. And I call my brother my tech support. He's techie. He knows how to make anything work. Anything with computers, anything that has a motor, he can make it work. And at the time, it was the holidays. It's, he's sick and we're sick and just trying to figure things out. And I sent a message and I'm like, I did it. I took things apart and I made it work. It was just simple maintenance. Uh, it was just the laser lens that wasn't firing correctly because it was dirty. I was
Oh, you're
doing way too many
like,
things at
what?
one time.
You're like, it was
Right,
just dirty? Yes.
right.
Yeah,
And
and I
it's just
like
one
that
of
you
those
really
things.
show,
Yeah.
because you're right in that way of, on social media, right? Everything seems so easy, like, oh, all you do is do this. So I think it's important
Sunshine.
to,
Right.
right, to let folks know that there are challenges, there are, you know, different things that can, be a struggle for us, entrepreneurs. So I'm glad that you're kind of letting folks know that. And also just letting people know that, because the next question I was going to ask about like the services you offer. And I think one is, your care, and your being able to turn around so quickly, like with that mom with the Taylor Swift cup.
Yeah.
I mean, had she gone to someone else, you know what I mean? So I think adding that is a really huge, component for some people, because some people, even myself, we get, we're trying to find something, or even just last minute, the fact that you were able to do, a quick turnaround. But I would love to know about, your services, what exactly you create. If you want to just kind of, I'll give it to you to share.
Sure. So I provide a lot of services for my clients. My turnaround is typically 2 to 4 weeks. If I'm able to make an exception and do a quick turnaround, I will try my best to do it. But like I tell my clients, I'm going to try my best. I can't promise you if it's a short
Mm-hmm.
window. And especially with Christmas, that was just very hard. I had told my husband, hey, beginning of Christmas, beginning of December, I don't want to take any more orders. And then I would hear stories, or can you do this and can you do that? And I hate saying no. And that's one thing that I have to work on this year, is saying no.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of what services I provide, Stanley Cups are my best seller, by far my best seller. I also offer branding services for my business clients. So anything from creating a new logo to branding it onto shirts, jackets, hats. We do silk screening, we do embroidery. I do leather patch hats as well. So if you have a logo like my Ruby Raes logo right there, I can definitely laser engrave that on a leather patch and put it on a hat, as well as beanies. I offer kids adult sizing in terms of shirts and hats. Cups, I have Stanley cups, Yeti cups, also non-branded cups if that's something that a client would like. And yes, crafters never say no. That's right. We try so hard to not to say no, and it is so hard to say that, and especially when you're in the crafting world, that you just want to make the day for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
make something special for them. And for my real estate agents and mortgage lenders, I do a ton of laser engraved wood and marble cutting boards and
Oh, I love
coasters for
that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the handle, if we're able to squeeze in their logo there. So I definitely have a lot of businesses that come to me, and I have a lot of clients that come looking for one-off gifts, like the
Mm-hmm.
cups, Those are the best selling. And other things that we offer, we do keychains. We do.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that post with the baby showers.
yeah, yeah. So Winnie the Pooh baby shower, and I have an event with Mama Tribe coming up. It's actually next Saturday in Rancho, and they're having a Sparkle and Shine event, and I'm giving some keychains that say some simple quotes, motivational quotes. So I can definitely customize anything in bulk, and yeah, we try to do anything and everything that we can. And I have a lot of friends that come to me and they're like, "Can you make this, or do you know anybody who can?" So if I'm not able to, I always point them in the right direction of somebody that can do that for them.
Wonderful. I love it. I've been dying to see a close up of the Stanley Cups. And is that wood in the background, or is that leather, your logo?
Oh, that's wood.
Oh, can I see a close up of the two? I'm always like seeing, oh, I love it. It's so
So
nice.
this is we also do QR codes signs for small
Oh,
businesses.
QR code signs. Yeah, that's so pretty. And it's like, I like it because you can continuously use it. It's not just a printout and then you toss it.
Yes, exactly. So it comes apart. So packs flat.
Oh, so, and it's light.
Yes, yes, the wood, and then the base is acrylic. We can customize it to however many QR codes you have. So if you have just one, or you have two, or if you want to have three, and then we put business cards in front,
Oh, okay.
we can definitely customize it to.
That's so cute. We'll definitely have to connect after. I'm like shopping during this live.
And
Um,
we also do a lot of weddings as well.
mm,
So wedding signs that say the newlyweds' names, like Smith, or we do what do you call them? Nursery signs for babies. So I think I have on my Instagram feed one that says James. I was doing some rounds with florals for some of the baby girls. I think I have Mila is one of them on there. So we can definitely customize anything.
I love it. You are like
Thank
working so hard and you're producing gorgeous pieces. Like I
you.
absolutely love them. So this might be a tough question. Like, what is the favorite item you've ever created so far?
Oh man, that one is tough. You know, it's probably going to be the stuff that I make for my boys. I have, so for my two older boys, they're able to drink out of, any cup. So I have Stanley ice flows that I customize just for them. I don't have it. They have them outside at the moment. But what it is so this is an ice flow, and it has the flip top. Let
Oh,
me turn. So
yes.
it has
Uh-huh.
So these are the Stanley ice flows. I have one in for both of them. They're 20 ounce, so it's a little smaller than this. And my youngest, or not my youngest, sorry, I have a middle child. So my middle child's favorite color and my oldest favorite color, their cups are in those colors, and it's Pixar. Sorry, not Pixar. It's Pixar and Toy Story.
Oh,
So
okay.
my oldest child, he decided what he wanted. He told me, I want Toy Story. I'm like, okay, what characters do you want? And he told me, I want Woody, I want Buzz, I want Ham, I want Rex, and so he went down the list of the characters that he wanted. And so together we created the design, like what order he wanted it in, and he helped me make that. So that's probably my most favorite thing that I've done, because those were custom made and no one else has them other than my son.
Mm.
And just that little interaction with my oldest and him deciding what characters he wanted, I think really went a long way for me, because it was that one-on-one time that we had together in creating something that I made. And he saw the whole process from beginning to end. He saw me create the file, and he was helping me set it up in the laser and getting everything just right in terms of the position of the laser and the wheels and all that stuff. And he was the one that was able to push the button to have it start, and then he
Oh,
helped me
that's fun.
clean it. So the whole process, he was there with me. And those are the cups. It's been almost a year, and those are the cups that they use daily. We
Wow.
put that in the diaper bag. We take that with us when we go to Disneyland, to the parks, when we go on vacation, whatever it is. Those are the cups that they have, and they know whose cup is whose because it's their favorite color, green and blue. So that it's just easy for them. And those are probably the most favorite thing that I've made for them. And also whenever it's the holidays, they have their Easter basket tags, they have their boo basket tags, they have their ornaments, their Christmas gifts. I always make a tag for them. And so every year it's a different tag or different design or different color or whatever it is. And that's kind of been our growing thing within our family.
I love that. Like my wheels are spinning. I'm like thinking like, oh, like to get kids to drink water, right? That would be like a good, a customizable cup. And then I'm also thinking like customized plates or like forks and, instruments and, things like that. Yes. So Jump to Learn, she wants to know, what is your Instagram?
So I am including that right now in my comments.
She put in the chat.
Yes.
So you kind of touched on, the most rewarding aspect of, being a business owner, providing personalized items and just that care and that support and something just tailored to that person. I think when we get a gift, it's really nice when it's personalized. We tend to pick it up, or when we see it, we get excited. We feel that sense of calming. What would you say would be like a takeaway you would want our audience to have about your business and anything that you're offering or anything? I know February is coming up, so I'm sure you probably have that in the works. So
Valentine's Day, I have those ideas in place, definitely for that. But as a takeaway, a lot of times we, as children, will think of the future, right? When we're little girls, we thought the day that we get married, it's going to look like this, the big wedding, walking down the aisle, the beautiful dress and all that, right? Mm-hmm. But as children, we also have the idea of what are we going to do when we grow up, or what are we going to be, what are we going to do, kind of a thing, right? So as a child, I always liked the idea of having a store, having a shop, having a storefront. My mom came from retail. I think my mom sold shoes when she was in her early 20s and all. And so she always had that entrepreneurship mindset. And I always liked playing store. I liked playing, collecting the money. And whenever we had an event or whatever that involved cash, I loved being the banker. And Monopoly, I loved being the banker. That was my favorite thing. And then funny enough, when I grew up in my first corporate style job, I was a bank teller. And I love that. I love being in charge of all this money and millions of dollars. And fun fact, $1 million doesn't take up that much space. If it's all in hundreds,
I love
it does not take that much space. It really doesn't. And my husband was also in banking as well, in retail banking. So we saw how much $1 million took up, and it's not a lot. Like 100,000.
I just imagine a pile of money, like like the cartoons.
And I always had that idea. And as I grew up, and going back to the idea of in school and high school, they don't talk about being an entrepreneur. It's always go to college, get a degree, you go to work, and 9 to 5, corporate, 401k, retirement, that's it. And I did that route, and the route that I initially wanted as a child and the road that I ended up taking didn't match. And I eventually came to that fork in the road again during COVID, and it's, do I stay on that same path as being in the rat race, or am I going to do something different so I can have more time with my children? And right around that time, my husband and I, we were having a chat with my dad one day, and he was telling my husband, don't do what I did. I just worked so much to provide for my family that I missed out on the time and on the memories with my children. Don't do my mistake. If I could go back and do it again, I would choose to not work all that overtime and to spend more time with my kids. And that kind of hit home for both of us. And I told my husband, it is so true, because as a kid, my dad worked nights. He always worked the graveyard shift. Even though we were in the same home, I didn't see my dad during the week. When I would go to school, he'd be asleep. When I'd come home, he'd be at work. When I'd go to bed, he'd be at work. And so we never saw each other during the week unless I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I would see him just, calming down, winding down, watching sports on TV, watching the highlights, that would really be the only time I'd see my dad. And for him to come to that realization and tell my husband, don't do my mistake, just really hit home for us. And we said, well, what can we do so that we don't have that lifestyle? Because we both grew up with not seeing our dads because of the work that they did. So what can we do so that our sons can grow up having both of us around?
Right.
And not having that, oh, well, I don't get to spend much time with my dad, or I don't get to spend much time with my mom, or mom's always around, but I don't get to see my dad. So we had to switch, and we both left corporate at the same time. And I know it's crazy. Everyone told us we were, but we both left corporate at the end of 2021. And so 22 was our first year of both of us being full-time entrepreneurs. I was running Rubi Raes, and my husband was doing real estate full-time. And so together we've been able to create the lifestyle that we want, and we're able to have our boys with us as much as possible. My sons are right now, they're outside playing with my husband, but if it were a normal day where he's at work, they'd be with me, and they'd be either helping me create or package my items, products and whatnot, or they would be playing on their own, and I'd be at the dinner table on my laptop working, or I'd be making the designs, or actually like the keychains, putting the keychains together. So definitely think of what you want in life and what kind of lifestyle you want, and do the things that you need to get there. If you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you have resources. You have me, you have Stephanie, you have, yes, thank you, Lily. Appreciate it. Lily's actually one of my cousins. Well, I haven't seen in like 20 years, but
we are so proud of you. I love it. Yes.
But you just have to write things down. And with the new year, writing things down, manifesting it is a big deal. It's a big thing. And that's something that my husband and I, we've been doing. Well, what do we want for the new year? What do we want to do? And writing things down and writing the goals has really helped us out. And so this year we did the same thing, but this year was the first year that we included our children in it. And with our oldest, we asked him, our middle child's 2, so he doesn't really understand as much as the oldest, who's 4. And we asked him, well, what do you want to do this year? Where do you want to go? And my oldest said 4 things. He said, I want to go to Nana and Grandpa's house. I want to go to Grandma's house. My parents own a ranch up north. So he says, I want to go to the ranch. And he said he wants to go to Disney World. And so we included that into our vision board for them. Those are the 4 places that they wanted to go to. And we added some other items on there. And we want them to be involved and know that this is what we want to get to. Well, how can we get there, kind of a thing. So that's what we've been doing with them. And my husband and I, we each have our vision board for ourselves and for our business, and we have one for the family. So there's definitely a way. If you have the idea and you have that desire and that love and that idea that I want this for my family, you can definitely do it, and just talk to someone and start manifesting it and getting that idea out there, because you can do it. I mean, we did it. Yeah, it's scary to quit your job, don't get me wrong, but we made the plans, and we had the roadmap in our minds, and on paper we made sure we were okay to do this financially, because when you have a mortgage and you have kids, you need to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. And we made sure we had our ducks in our row. And when we left, it was a big jump, but I don't regret it, and neither does my husband, because we have the lifestyle that we wanted, and
I love your story, and it's like a perfect way to start off 2024. Talking about starting a business, thinking about what matters most, and I'm happy that you are making the change and also modeling that to your children, that there are other ways to make income, to make a living that you want. You don't have to succumb to societal expectations of how to make income and so forth. And to what you were saying, both of my parents worked a ton, and even my mom tells me, wow, I wish I didn't. She would work 7 days a week in overtime. She was a store manager, right? So she was so busy, and I remember just seeing her, and in seeing them work, like that's how I kind of got my work ethic. But again, I'm just kind of like, oh, I wish I would have like seen them a little bit more. So, and really thinking about what is more important. Yes, money is important, but
Right.
really thinking about how you can let your money work for you. Like you said, coming up
Exactly.
with like a plan,
Yeah.
investing money, savings, even if
Oh
it's just like I always tell parents that either go to my baby massage class or my compassionate parenting class, that even if you just if money's really tight, if you can just save $1 a week, or even $5 a week, with coffee at, Starbucks, even
yeah.
just doing that and starting that, and you'll start to see, over time, wow, like I started really, diligently saving, when COVID hit. COVID was a huge wake up call for everybody.
Yeah.
And now looking at my savings, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really proud of myself. And it kind of encourages you to save more. So I really like how you're setting all of us up for success and even kind of reminding me, like, I have my board. I just haven't done it yet. I like see
Mhm.
it and then I'm just like, okay, I need to like do that this weekend. That is my goal, thanks to you. But yes, honestly, manifesting is so important because I know for me in the last year,
Mhm.
there has been a lot of great opportunities headed my way that I would not even think of, right? But like you said, like when you keep saying like this is what I want, like I want this, and we start to work towards it. And working towards it isn't just it could be, setting boundaries, right? Being consistent, working
Simple.
out, whether
Mhm.
that's even going for a walk. I know some people like they're like working out. I always say physical activity, whatever works for you, right? There's little things that you do
Mhm.
to help you get on that track, and it can take some time to do that. And I like how you also said that you and your husband created a plan of action. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to start that business, or I want to make that product, think about how much money you need to save in order to do that, because you don't want to just quit and then you just have zero in the account, like you said,
Right.
family, bills, all that other fun stuff. So I really enjoyed this conversation. Like, I'm like, I love it. We are totally on the same wavelengths of just really growing generational wealth and just having that
Oh
that
yeah.
freedom and doing something that we enjoy when we wake up in the morning.
Yes.
You know,
And the other thing with going back to the vision board and creating your ideas, we did have an action plan, but when you have a vision board and you have that goal, right? You have to break it down into actionable items. And so when we knew that we wanted to quit our jobs and we knew that we wanted to work for ourselves, we waited until after we purchased our home and then we started saving from then. So after we had our wedding, our savings were very low. And so we made a plan with each other and we decided, well, we want to buy a home. Let's start saving as much as we can. We cut it so close. And I love telling the story because a lot of people don't really understand how hard it is or how easy, like it's easy and hard, right? You have to manifest and you have to have the idea and the desire, like, I want to buy a house.
right.
And we just started saving like crazy. We didn't know how much, or we had an idea, but we just didn't know what the final numbers were going to be until you're in escrow. Because of escrow closing costs, you get an idea. It's like 2.5 to 3% of the closing of the purchase price. So we had a ballpark, but we knew we were cutting it close. So that last month when we were in escrow, we worked so much overtime to avoid getting a gift from our parents or whatever, because you have to show where the money's coming from. You have to have the paper trail. So we worked so much overtime. And we tell people we cut it so close, and people don't understand how close we're. No, we cut it close. The day we sent the wire out, our savings account was left with 99 cents. I kid you not, it was 99 cents. It was like the scariest moment because we were cutting it so close. And when we sent that wire, it was just like this relief that washed over us. And after that, we're like, okay, now things are real. Things just got really real. I was 5, 6 months pregnant at the time with our oldest. And we knew we had to do it, and we found a way and we did it. So after that, we were saving like crazy. And we said we wanted to have 6 months in reserves before we quit our jobs. At the time that we both quit, we had about 8 months of our monthly expenses. So that's another thing. You have to write down your expenses. And I have a Excel spreadsheet that I just created, and I just note down all our bills on there. And so we knew we had a rough estimate. We need about this much to have 6 months of reserves so that we can quit our jobs. So at the time we had 8 months saved up, and we ended up not utilizing all of it, but it was nice to have that safety net just in case something were to happen, because when you're an entrepreneur, anything can happen.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you just never know what can happen. You know, you might need new tires, your engine blows on your car, you have to do some kind of repair in your home. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Medical bills.
Yeah. Yes. And so you just never know, but you have to invest in yourself and have faith that everything will work out. And it's always so funny when we look back at, what happened in the last year, or when you look back and say, it was funny, I didn't think that was going to happen, or that went better than I thought. And breaking it down to actionable goals just really helped us out, because we were like, okay, we have this much saved up. Okay, let's keep going. What else can we do? What else can we come back on and save money? And with our business, it's like, okay, well, we set our goals, and how is that going to break down to? So I want to make X amount of money for the year. How am I going to get there? Okay, well, that breaks down to this much monthly, this much weekly, this much daily. And what am I going to do? What actions can I do so that I can make that kind of money, or so that I can hit those goals? Like, money is an easy one to talk about, because you can break it down like into daily amounts of income that you can make for the business so you can get to your long-term goal. But when it's something else, like I want to work with big brands, or I want to work for or with in collaboration with other business owners, it's like, okay, well, what can I do? I need to talk to them. I need to be known. I need to reach out to other people. So that's what I've been doing, is reaching out to more of my clients and asking them, well, what can I do for you?
Right.
There's something that we can do for each other. Do you need shirts? Do you need hats? Do you need this? Do you need that? So just doing those things, really helps out, but definitely getting yourself out there also helps out.
Yes, I love it. And I'm like, all ideas.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of updating my office. So I'm thinking, you can definitely customize like inspirational quotes on the Stanley Cups, or even just kind of like a frame, not a frame, but just something, I don't know, I'm just thinking something you put on the wall where you look at it and you're like, oh, that's inspiring.
Like a sign, like a cutout sign of a quote. I can definitely do
like
that.
a cutout sign. Yeah, so I can definitely, so if anyone, out there, you're like, like, what can I do to motivate myself to, think about something that when you see and you're like, oh, okay. Or even just like, with our Stanley Cups, right? Like, we're drinking all the time, and then it can remind us like, oh yes, keep going. You got this, right? You're doing the best you can. So
for me,
well, I'm so excited, Ruby, that we connected. And I have to thank Mary. I'm not sure if Mary's on here, but I have to thank Mary for connecting us, because we could, just to give folks context, we connected because I was doing my empowerment event, and I was looking for totes and t-shirts and all the other fun stuff. So I have to thank Mary for connecting. And what was that?
I said, yes, we love Mary.
Yes, Mary is the best. We miss Mary, but yes. I know she's out of state, but but yes, follow Ruby Raes Boutique. She definitely shows amazing items that she creates, and you can reach out to her. So you have her contact information there. And if you want to fill out, I'm still going to leave the form up for the rest of the day. So if you want to provide your email address information, that way you can be on her mailing list and receive any exclusive offers. But again, what was that?
Yes. So I didn't mention it before, but I'm going to be having a discount code for all of your followers and anybody else who's been on this live. It's going to be STP, so Stand Tall Parenting, STP10 for 10% off any online order on my website.
Wonderful. So STP10 to get 10% off. You're going to put in the chat. I know I'm trying to, with the phone, it makes it all. But yes, definitely take advantage of that offer. Again, fill out the form so that way that way she has your contact information. And so I just wanted to scroll. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Then we have some folks join on in. We will have a replay. So after we are done meeting, we will have a replay that you can share with anyone else that needs that. You know, I felt like this was like a motivational, you know, live meet and greet. Like I said, this is a great way to start off 2024, and I'm loving the energy. So let's keep it going. But
Definitely.
have a good rest of your day, and
Yeah.
I will see you next time, everybody.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye.
Take care. See you later.
Bye.